in a psychology class.
All right, let's settle down and start talking about everyone's favorite subject, sleep. And we're going to start with your circadian rhythm. So, a circadian rhythm is a biological rhythm that takes place over a period of about 24 hours. It's basically how we biologically experience each day. Our sleep-wake cycle, which is linked to our environment's natural light-dark cycle, is perhaps the most obvious example of a circadian rhythm, but we also have daily fluctuations. Now, does anyone remember a few other examples? Janet?
Yes, I think that your glucose level changes based on the last time you ate.
Yes, that's right. Anyone else?
I think they also mentioned heart rate and body temperature, but I forget the specific examples.
Don't worry about that, George. We will discuss these other circadian rhythms in much more detail later in the course. But for now, the most important thing to keep in mind about circadian cycles is that they are usually aligned with the outside world. For example, most people sleep during the night and are awake during the day. Now, one important regulator of sleep-wake cycles is the hormone melatonin. Melatonin release is stimulated by darkness and inhibited by light. When people have difficulty getting sleep due to their work or demands of day-to-day life, they accumulate a sleep debt. A person with a sleep debt does not get sufficient sleep on a chronic basis, and the consequences of sleep debt include decreased levels of alertness and mental efficiency. Interestingly, since the advent of the electric light, the amount of sleep that people get has actually declined. While we certainly welcome the convenience of having the darkness lit up, we also suffer the consequences of reduced amounts of sleep because we're more active during the nighttime hours than our ancestors were. As a result, many of us sleep less than 7 to 8 hours a night and accumulate a sleep debt. While there is tremendous variation in any given individual's sleep needs, the National Sleep Foundation cites research to estimate that newborns require the most sleep between 12 and 18 hours a night, and that this amount declines to just 7 to 9 hours by the time we are adults. If you lie down to take a nap and fall asleep very easily, chances are you may have a sleep debt. Given that college students are famous for suffering from significant sleep debt, chances are you and your classmates deal with these issues on a regular basis. Sleep debt and sleep deprivation have significant negative psychological and physiological consequences. Now, as mentioned earlier, lack of sleep can result in decreased mental alertness and cognitive function. In addition, sleep deprivation often results in depression-like symptoms. These effects can occur as a function of accumulated sleep debt or in response to more acute periods of sleep deprivation. Now, it may surprise you to know that sleep deprivation is associated with obesity, increased blood pressure, increased levels of stress, and reduced immune functioning. A sleep-deprived individual generally will fall asleep more quickly than if they were not sleep-deprived. Some sleep-deprived individuals have difficulty staying awake when they stop moving, for example, sitting and watching television or driving a car. That is why individuals suffering from sleep deprivation can also put themselves and others at risk when they go behind the wheel of a car or work with dangerous machinery. Some research suggests that sleep deprivation affects cognitive and motor function as much, if not more than, alcohol intoxication. Now, the amount of sleep that we get varies across our lives. When we're very young, we spend up to 16 hours a day sleeping. As we grow older, we sleep less. In fact, recent research indicates that by the time we are 65 years old, we average fewer than 7 hours of sleep per day. As the amount of time we sleep varies over our lifespan, presumably the sleep debt would adjust accordingly.